Welcome back to another episode of the Jock Podcast. I'm John,
Nick,
part of Jock, right?
Jock.
Jock. And we're back after a few-week hiatus. That was for good reason. We had a lot of important things happening in our lives. And but now we're back in the full swing of things. We won't go away for weeks at a time again from our Jocksters. We're going to get into a good groove of things. With that, we're going to cheers. I don't have a mug today. We're recording in the middle of the day for the first time in a while. I got a Gatorade. Nick, what you drinking?
So this is a mix between a nitro and then the espresso from our house.
Oh.
I started with the quad from this morning.
Okay.
Took the dogs, did our thing. We dropped Waylon off at his first day of camp.
Yep.
And then after that, I did a job interview at a coffee shop. It wasn't going to be awkward and not get a coffee.
Of course, you have to.
So after drinking halves of each, I decided to make a concoction for this. So let's see what we got here.
Beautiful. All right. So with that, we're going to start. Let's talk about what's been going on the last few weeks.
Well, let's start with you because you just had some very recent, very exciting news.
Yeah.
So go ahead, let them know.
First one, we got a kitten. We got a new kitten.
Wait, I didn't even know you got a kitten.
Yeah.
Are you
kidding me? We
just
got him, I think it was on Sunday, maybe Saturday or Sunday.
Boy or girl?
Boy.
Name?
George.
Nice.
So they found him in a bush. The guys that got him a few weeks ago, so they did
George
Bush. And we didn't love the name at first, George, but now we've been calling him Georgie and having fun.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cool.
It is cool. So I think we're sticking with George.
Yeah.
So he's a little guy, very little guy. We mainly got him because our current cat, Copper, she's lonely sometimes.
How is Copper adjusted?
So I've pulled out all the stops.
Okay.
Right. So Copper is very territorial. Oof. She it's her kingdom, right? She's
Yeah.
there all day.
Oh
right?
man.
So we started with the kitten in the bathroom and then Copper outside, and they get to sniff each other or whatever through the door.
Did you use ChatGPT for all
this?
I knew it.
Yes.
I knew it.
Yep. Oh yeah, figured out exactly. Then I got a little playpen, a kitten playpen. So that's in the middle of the living room.
Okay.
Apparently, you plop it in Copper's space, and then the kitten can't run around, but Copper can come and go as she pleases to get to know the kitten. They're getting so much better. They're still not in free reign with each other, but we're getting close.
Have they made eye contact several times?
Yeah. The no more hissing. We're making really good progress.
They were hissing at first.
Yeah. Copper was hissing
a little
bit, but she's great now. I think in the long run, this will be good for Copper to have a friend while we're not home. So that's been a fun little adjustment.
Wow.
And then the other big news, so I might have mentioned it before on the podcast, but I'm a marketer, right? Mm-hmm. So my whole life not my whole life, but my adult life I've spent doing marketing work. When I came back to North Carolina from New York, I ran into as a CEO of a company called QDS, Quality Data Systems. It's essentially banking technology, right? So we're supplying a lot of tech for banks and credit unions, and Charlotte's huge for banking.
Yes, it is.
So he was like, hey, I need marketing help. Just come on. Let's see. It started more consulting work. I've been on for about 4 months or so now, helping the sales team, developing marketing strategies, doing consulting stuff. And then we just met last night that they're liking the work. Mm-hmm. We're gonna keep going, and now I'm gonna be running the entire marketing team, building it out, kind of just leading it all. And we're gonna see where it happens from there. So it's been an exciting journey. Banking is very far behind on trends. It's a lot of the old leaders in charge, right? So if you're talking to clients and prospects and all those people, the leaders have been in for 40 years, right? So it's all the older heads. So a lot of the stuff that we're introducing is newer items. Yeah. It's very easy to stick out in a positive way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and people are probably extremely apprehensive to transition to something new because that's such an important aspect of society. Yeah. That what works, do we have to change? So I'm sure when they get someone like you to come in and also I know you, you don't just say, hey, let's try this. It's more no, this is why this will work.
Yes.
And this, so a huge congratulations because that is a very big promotion.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to touch on with this promotion is you were in kind of this is impressive. So this is a compliment to you. You were in kind of a hands-off position. They didn't bother you. It was kind of hey, John, we need you to do this. This is the result. Yeah. I don't want to know about any of this. Just get us here. Yeah. And then with that free reign, you were able to excel, and that's impressive.
So it's a very thank you, by the way, but it's a very entrepreneurial role, right? Because it's not I joined a position that's been there previously, that you have all these tasks and all. I'm creating.
Yeah, there's no parameters, no standards. It's
creating the work. It's not like
yeah.
I have 5 meetings a day. I'm popping it. It's just like, hey, we know what we want to accomplish. Lead us there.
Wow.
So that's what
we did it.
And
you did it so well that you're head of marketing.
Now we're doing it again. So like all right. So no, it's fun, and I love this type of work. Like I like the corporate type of I'm bringing like the newer ideas.
Okay.
It's really cool to see like the eye opening, the educational factor of things, and then kind of like when it works is an awesome feeling.
Yeah, so, I'm sure.
Yeah,
fulfilling.
So it's been fun, very fulfilling, and it's been fitting into my life. How exactly I've gotten a good routine now. I'm super happy. Like it's just in a good place.
Yeah, I remember when you moved to New York, that was really what you wanted. Like you had a fantastic job, and I remember you were like, man, it's not my lifestyle, and I'm just not happy.
Yeah, I think that was a huge lesson. Like, I moved to New York to run the marketing for JFK Airport, one of the terminals there, and it was my dream job on paper, right? Like, if I had to pick a job out of college for when I went for marketing, that would have been it. The marketing manager there, right? Yeah. And then you get into the grind of it, and it was very political. It was very like nonstop, 24/7, and not in the sense of like we all work. Once you're in like a job that you're passionate about,
work hard.
or you work, right? It doesn't matter. But it was a lot of like naggy type of
Too
work.
Much
if that makes
people
sense.
Telling John how to do John's
and like
job.
They weren't open to the ideas and all that. So it was rough. And although it seemed great on paper, which is again what a lot of like the people who are in that corporate grind, like a lot of stuff can seem great on paper. You make decent money, you have all this life, but then like I was in New York, family and friends are here, right? It wasn't like I remember taking the train ride home and seeing a lot of like depressed older people. And
just to give a little perspective without going too in depth.
Yeah.
John set himself up financially very well, so he did not need to work. He was in a great position. I mean, he was working, but it was you were doing,
Yeah, I'm also like younger too, and I took over a year off to just like trade and do other financial things. So I was going crazy in that time. But yeah,
the reason why I say this is though, like that shows how you viewed this job, because here you are financially set, and you were getting bored and stuff, but you're like, you know what, like this is what I wanted on paper, so I'm going to do it. So and you didn't have to.
Yeah.
So you learned the hard way, but it's good that you got that experience, because then you would know, you would never know if you didn't 100%. Take that chance.
Yeah.
And after that experience, you came here, and now it's just, dude, I just see you're killing it. You're happy. You're enjoying work. You're going to work with all these ideas. Johnny Sparks. You got
Johnny Sparks. I like that. Yeah, no, it's a lot of like been like fruits of my labor essentially for like the last few years of like one, setting yourself up to be able to make these certain decisions when you are in a bind, I should say. It's a little harder to do that, right? Like you often have to be stuck in jobs that you don't want to do because maybe you have to provide. Like, of course, you should always have to like be in a position to provide for people, right? But if you can set yourself up for a little flexibility and freedom, it makes that process a little easier. But none of that came without hard work, foundation, all of that type of stuff. So
now you're happy with.
Now we're happy. I'm very, very, very happy. And again, there's still just so much work to do. Like I'm 29 and I'm in the state of like, let's just keep building. Let's keep going from here. Yeah. So yeah. So that's been fun in John land. And then with all this, the past few weeks, I've had a lot of fun celebrating Nick and a lot of the events that have been going on over here in Nick's neck of the woods.
So last time we were doing the podcast, we were talking about our wedding coming up, the most important day of my life, and it could not have gone better. It was absolutely incredible. And then John, you got to like enjoy. So what we did, because a lot of our guests were coming from out of town, we had a relatively big wedding. We had like maybe 180 something people.
Okay.
We invited 285. So it was a big wedding, but because so many people were coming out of town, my wife really wanted everybody to like, it's a lot of sacrifice, like of course they're coming to celebrate us and they want to, but let's be honest, like it's hard to travel and everyone's coming from out of town, like to take time off of work. Your kids have obligations. You are really just investing your finances too into a big trip. So we didn't want it just to be like, hey guys, take off of work, come for a day, leave. And then we really wanted our families to get to know each other. So what we did was we set up this like 3 or 4 day agenda of options for people to do things while they were here. You got to you were in the golf tournament. Did you win the golf tournament?
Nah, second or third place maybe,
buddy,
but we had a lot of fun.
We were second place. You
okay,
were not
third
second
place. Sorry, third place. Johnny and the Pat boys.
Okay, Johnny, you were with Andrew, Claire's brother.
Yeah.
So, and he's a really good golfer.
He was good.
You must have really been holding him
back. I sure was.
So, it was a great time. We did the golf day. The girls went out and did their nails and hair. Nope, just nails. They did their hair the day of the wedding. As did we. We got a barber to come.
Oh, that was nice.
We got Josue to come.
The close shave on the face too.
On the face. What else did we do? We did a boat day, which was a lot of fun. That was great. And then we also did a welcome party, which was also phenomenal. And then a huge dinner at El Cerro, one of our favorite places around. We did so much, honestly.
Yeah.
And the welcome drinks was like we rented out a rooftop. That was a lot of fun.
Does that make it more fulfilling of like the entire few days? Like all these people came into town. They love you guys.
We just wanted to maximize time with everyone's family because like Claire's family, we do not see often. They live in California, Arizona. It's just, it's hard to see everyone. And then I have a lot of family in New York, Florida, South Carolina, mainly on the East Coast. We do see them a little more. Claire's dad's in Virginia. It's hard, it's hard. So like if they're gonna come here, we want to really make the most of every single day. We had a large barbecue at my parents' house the day after, which was your birthday. Happy belated birthday. Yep. So we did so much in that short amount of time, and it was so much fun. Just everything. Like it was phenomenal. It could not have gone better. And the wedding was amazing. Everything went well, like literally everything. There was nothing, no hiccups. There was nothing like vendors. They were punctual. Everybody showed up on time. It was as planned.
It was really cool because I've been coming over and we hang out and all that, but I've been especially coming over like weekly leading up to the wedding, and I get to see a little behind the scenes. That too. So even I took a minute to like look around and see everyone was so happy, like seeing the decisions from the cigar roller to the big signs to everything was beautiful.
It's funny that you say that because one of our like the best moments at the reception, Claire and I did our outfit change. How about the announcement for us coming in? The Bruce Buffer and they introduced us like it was like we were coming for we were the main event, and it was awesome. So we were on our way back into the venue from our outfit change, and we looked around and we could see there was multiple areas on the entire like property. You had your cocktail hour location over here, your reception hall where the ceremony was, where you get ready. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful venue. So we're on our way in to the reception hall, and we could see the patio and the reception hall. So we see people playing cornhole on the custom cornhole boards, the big marquee sign. It was getting dark. People playing chess, smoking cigars. Then we see a huge party going in on inside of the reception hall, and we were like, wow, everybody, like we accomplished like an amazing reception where everybody's having so much fun. The DJ was phenomenal. The food was fantastic. Our ceremony was beautiful. Couldn't have gone better.
Oh yeah. One of the things I found really I guess important was the bond that the wedding officiant seemed to have with you and Claire. So you could tell it wasn't just a guy hired off the street to perform the ceremony. He knew you guys. How did that work? Like what?
I'm glad you brought that up. So I would strongly encourage anybody getting married to really take a lot of time when picking your officiant. So Gio and his wife Susie, they didn't exactly say yes right away. They said when we asked, and they were recommended. They aligned with us with our Christian faith. In a lot of essentially in a lot of ways, and we were recommended to go to them. And when we asked, it wasn't like, yeah, sure, we'll marry you, or I'll marry you. It was, hey, how about you meet with my wife and I for dinner? And we'll kind of see if we align, and we have the same understanding of what marriage is through God. And also, if we want to move forward, there's a multiple week process where we go through a book called Two Becoming One, and it's fun. It's like a workbook kind of. And we met at their house every not every single week, but multiple times before the wedding. and it was awesome. We'd get there. Gio had cafe con leche for me. We'd be in their front room talking to them, getting to know them, running through the workbook together. So we would read on our own throughout the week, answer questions, and then discuss it with them. And it was essentially like what marriage is, God's intention for marriage, how to reflect his image. It was absolutely incredible. And then we would get there. His whole family would be there sometimes. We'd be talking to him. We developed such a great bond with them and a great relationship with them. I go to like their cigar nights. Well, I went to one. It was awesome though.
Yeah.
It's been amazing, but that's why it felt so intimate, because he really did know us, and then like had us answer several questions.
And
it was a really fun way. And also, like, when you get married, there's some things that you're like naturally going to be going through. If Lord willing, having children, most likely you're buying a house. There's going to be finances you go through, all these things. And like, you don't know how to always like handle things. Like, so now it's, two become one. So when you have this guidance from somebody who's been married this many years, and align with how you see, what marriage is, they give you such good insight and like advice, and it's beautiful. Like, we had so much fun. And I would strongly encourage anybody to do that. But that is why I feel like we had an intimate touch at the ceremony.
No, you could see it from the guest perspective too. So that was really good. And then after leading up to the wedding, right, you enjoyed the whole weekend, right? Because you were prepping for the fight.
So when I accepted that fight, I said, like, all right, I'm going to work I am going to train so hard. And my coach is awesome about this too. He did it like for Easter. When we went on Easter, he goes, hey, I'm like, hey, where do you want me to train while I'm in Arizona? He's like, hey, no, you don't. It's family time. It's my wedding, our wedding. I'm checking out of the fight. Forget about it. Done. I did go on a 3-day fast after after that Sunday to catch back up a little bit. But I checked out. I enjoyed our carrot cake at the end, our pretzel bites. I think I had like every station of food. I think I had seconds. I drank. I enjoyed the entire 4 days.
So that's a good transition too now from the wedding, and then straight from the wedding, it was what, 2 or 3 weeks after was fight night? 3 weeks after was fight night. So walk me through the weight cut, the camp where we left off. You were still in fight camp, obviously deep into it.
So I'll just go ahead and tell you a fun fact first.
Fun fact.
Weight cutting sucks. That's not the fun fact, but I made weight. I went up with my 2 teammates. They both won. I won a national title. It was really exciting. But I had a very successful fight camp. I gained 24 pounds roughly in 24 hours.
One day?
Yeah.
Oh, it was after weigh-in.
After weigh-in, so before the fight. So I felt good. I felt so good.
Okay.
I felt strong. My corner that was amazing. I had a future guest of the podcast, Joe Selecki. I had Carrie, I had Saeed, and I had Diego. So I had like everything covered, like from jiu-jitsu, striking. I had everything covered from jiu-jitsu, striking, wrestling, and then, honestly, this is really important, having people there that are just know how to support you, to say the right things. I got so scared. I was so scared, Johnny. I was scared.
Oh, really?
I was so scared to walk out.
Right before the fight or leading up to it?
Yeah. So, the day of, I was getting nervous, leading up to it. But whenever I have I had a very tough opponent. And whenever I have those kinds of opponents, I tend to train the hardest. Whenever I have those kinds of opponents that I'm essentially oh shoot, this guy's really good, I train the hardest.
Okay.
So the day of, let's be honest, I haven't fought in 3 years. And then I'm jumping right into a national title against a guy who was coming up a win of the #1 ranked guy in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I think the #1 ranked guy in the Northeast.
Yep.
He just knocked out a guy who was in the UFC. So I'm looking at all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is a tough
bring
opponent.
your A game.
So I get there, and the day of, you do what's called it's like a warm up. We went down to the cage, got a feel for it, my teammates and I, as well as my cornerman. And I'm glad I did, because I got in there and I was like, oh shoot, I forgot, you see the bright lights. And you're looking out, it's like, oh,
I will say, I was at the fight in person. I would have never guessed that you were nervous. You look confident.
So by the time I went out there,
okay.
it's much different.
Okay.
So now I'm in there. I'm like, oh, I
start. Time, baby.
Yeah. I start warming up. And I'm getting like, I'm like, all right, I feel good.
This is day before.
This is day of.
Day of. Okay.
Yeah, day of. So we are now hours out of the fight. So we go back down into the room. My first teammate wins by flying knee.
Oh, unreal. Yeah.
My second teammate has a really tough opponent, and he gets through the first round, which was tough. And that kid, he just doesn't break.
Yeah.
The other kid broke that he was fighting, and you saw it, and he just capitalized.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So I'm watching them in the room and on the TV, and I'm like, all right, like they performed. I am praying to God because I am honestly like, I mean, I always pray to God. I am so scared. I am just asking. I'm not scared to lose.
Okay.
I'm not scared to get hurt.
Okay.
I just don't want to go out there and not perform. I put in 12 weeks for this camp, and that's what I'm scared of. I'm scared to let my wife down. I'm scared to let down my mom I see out there. Everyone who came, my coach who just put all his time into me, and my teammates. That like it is so Claire makes so much sacrifice throughout that 12 weeks. We come home early. We don't do certain like say go out to dinner, dessert, or friends want to meet an event or something. Or like, no, sorry, like Nick wants to be in bed by 10 tonight and make sure, whatever. It's a lot of sacrifice to put in all that effort and have the thought of like, I may go out there and just not perform to my best ability.
That is tough, yeah.
So I was scared.
But that's real, I will say. A lot of people probably wouldn't say that.
Oh yeah, I was really scared.
Yeah.
And I was just praying to God, like, please have me perform or whatever. I, prayed and like, and of course, Joe said a beautiful prayer right before as a team.
Okay.
For like no long-term injuries for myself or my opponent. And I went out there and I started like, I got in my zone, and I had faith. I was so excited, and I get out there and I had I get out there and I have my best performance, and my best performance ever. And my opponent did not back down. He was so before the fight, I knew. You want details?
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to just keep talking.
No.
So
I think this is interesting to a lot of people too. Like, hearing the behind the scenes, especially after this, is more of like the perspective of it. Yeah.
So my opponent dominates a lot of fighters by just moving forward. He's extremely tough. He wrestles really, really well. If he gets hit, it doesn't even phase him. And I'm looking at this like, so I'm like, I'm fighting a juggernaut, So I knew to win, I had to be, like my coach would say, like, be the bully in the cage. Like, I could not, anytime I backed down, I knew he would take advantage of that. Yeah. So I knew I had to just push the pace, go forward, and never stop.
Yeah.
So I accepted this is going to be, like, I told myself, this is going to be a hard 15 minutes, and you got to give it everything you got if you want to win. And I did, and he never backed down. There's my anime, I'm a nerd. In Naruto, there's a scene where Sasuke and Naruto are talking, and they're talking about, like, they talk about how two martial artists could get to know each other better by the fist they exchange opposed to talking. And dude, that's how it felt in there. Like we were, there was blood.
Yeah.
We were tired, and we're going into the third round. He looks across the cage from me, and he's like, "Well, we brought it. We gave the crowd the main event essentially." And he's like, and this is what was so badass. He goes, "Now let's let the dogs out." Meaning, like, we already went. We already did what like we already went here. Now let's really
directly.
Oh yeah, we looked at each other, and he said it. And it was just like me and him had this mutual like respect of like, you're right. Like, we already are giving it everything we got.
Yeah.
Let's hit let's dig and really show like them what we can do in the third round and show each other, you know? And we had a nice little moment. The announcers, I watched it after, and they were like, "Yeah, I usually don't like the hugging between the rounds, but these two guys just kind of go right back at it after." So that was pretty cool if they said that. And then after my fight, he came, in the back room.
Okay.
He's beat up. I'm beat up. And he told me, he's like, "I just want you to know I prayed for you every night." And I told him I prayed for him too. And it was an amazing journey. And honestly, never mind, like, of course you want to win. But like, I was like, how blessed am I to be able to go through a 12-week camp, not have any like terrible injuries, be able to train for that. And like that journey alone, that trip with my two teammates, and then my cornerman, like that was amazing. Like, whether it was beating Saeed in chess on the car ride there, he beat me in Smash Bros on the in the room. Bad. King K. Rool was not doing it anyway. But like from the weight cut, I don't know how much you guys know about weight cuts, but they can be really, really hard. And when you have teammates like I had Joe and Saeed, they're doing the weight cut with us.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
Sure.
It is brutal. Like you don't want to. Some guys are different. I didn't really want to talk. I just like getting locked in. And then my teammate Joseph, he's starting conversations in the sauna with people we don't know. Next thing you know, this guy's telling us about how his son's teeth are turning yellow due to pot, and I'm just sitting there like.
Because that's also like while you're there, you got there on Tuesday, right? The fight, or maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. No, we got there Tuesday.
The fight was Friday.
Correct.
While you're there, you're still having to make sure you make weight, prep, train, stay there mentally, right? Like there's a lot of work that still has to be done. There's a lot
of work that still has to be done. I'm glad we went early. I did a different weight cut than I usually do.
Okay.
So I was extremely nervous about it, but you can't stress because that'll hold. Like that doesn't make anything better.
Oh yeah.
Cortisol does not help. Like So you have to be locked in, and you just got to trust in the process. I had to, like, Joe Selecki was a big part of it. My coach, like, they're like, hey, easy. Like, just, like this is the process that works for these, like, these guys. Like, this is what the UFC Performance Institute suggests. Like, you got to just, and it was amazing. I performed.
From my view, too, like, credit to all your cornermen. Like, we were going down the elevator probably 2 or so hours before fight time. We were going to meet Claire. And Joe was in there, and Saeed, I think it was just them two. They were ready.
Really?
They had all the stuff in their hands. They were like, we're going to crush it.
And
we're going to kill it. They were ready. And then after the fight, after the fight, the pride that they had in all three of you guys, like the results, like it wasn't even, I'm sure even if you all didn't win, the pride that they had for the performances and the work and all that, you could see they were beyond proud of what just happened in that.
They were so professional. And that's the thing. Like you said, never mind the results. Like my coach wasn't there, our head coach, Jeff Jimmo.
Okay.
But like I know if he saw the way we carried ourselves, he'd be like, that's my team. That's what we train for. We have this picture of our poster of our core values at Jimmo.
Okay.
I feel like we went there and displayed so many of those, if not all. And I think my coach would be happy to know how we carried ourselves.
Yeah.
And that is where I think like that's part of like the beauty in the process that it's that corny saying like you aim for the moon, even if you fail, you land on the stars.
Yeah.
Like that high expectation sets you up. Like we're getting better. We're learning.
We've talked about this previously too with Jimmo. Like, does a result like that where you guys go in and you have success and you prove it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you come back to the gym. Does that now amplify everyone else because they all see what just happened and they're like,
our gym is on an absolute tear right now, an absolute tear. We had our 3 wins. Caleb and Gabe are out in Brazil. They just performed so well. They always perform, but they excelled and they did phenomenal. We have Mitch and Saeed fighting this weekend. It's Saeed's pro debut. Mitch, I think, might be an amateur title fight. I could be wrong on that. And he'll fight, dude. He's a tough dude. We're coming off a bunch of wins. Chris Honeycutt just won. So many guys are just performing. So it's, of course, the result's amazing, but like my coach definitely analyzes things and then adjusts accordingly.
Yeah.
That whole camp though, like everybody in the room felt it. Like we were drilling and like we had that high expectation that it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Like my coach said, like we're going up to Jersey not to compete. We're not going to compete. We're going to take over. Billy, on the way there, we're all cutting weight. We're on the car ride, eating limited calories and on our water load. And Billy, like we're whatever. And Billy just goes out of nowhere. It messed up. I was like, what's he talking about? He goes, they let the pack of wolves out. And I was like, dang. But it was a phenomenal experience.
Yeah.
It's been the best year of my entire life. It really has been.
Yeah.
Super excited. I'm going to get back to training soon. Claire and I have our honeymoon going to Portugal, which we booked, and I cannot wait.
Yeah.
We've been studying our Portuguese.
Oh, there we go.
She's so freaking smart that she already speaks better Portuguese than I do. She's like 250 days straight on the app, Duolingo. Oh, dude.
Crazy.
And she sees something once, and it's stored in the memory bank.
Oh, yeah, she's smart.
I need it like 40 times.
Yeah, really trained for that. So that's cool. So
exciting.
So now it's just enjoying it for a bit. You're still training a little bit, right?
So I'm still training, looking for, that huge opportunity. Work has been extremely busy. Shout out to my business partner again, because he held it down for us while I was training. And I got to support my teammates too. I can't just win and then like all of a sudden check it. Like I'm staying on it. Like I called Saeed and I'm like, hey, like I know I'm not at the gym this day, but like, what do you need? Let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So George and Isaac, we're heading up to watch them.
Oh,
hopefully
nice.
my father-in-law will meet us.
Yeah.
We're moving, dude. We got a unit moving. Jim we're doing awesome, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
All the guys are like building this camaraderie. That's fantastic. I love
That's really cool and it's so cool to see from like my perspective too. Like you guys are practicing what you preach. Like,
you've been seeing them here too,
and
like hanging out.
Everyone is so supportive of one another, wanting to see each other.
How awesome was that fight party that Claire threw me? I had no idea.
Nice.
Yeah, like it was a surprise.
Claire did an awesome job, and it was just everyone like in your circle, and maybe some people probably couldn't make it, but everyone who was here was a part of that process too, right?
Guys playing foosball, ping pong,
everyone
chess,
just celebrate,
reminiscing on the fight. It was incredible.
It was so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so now with all of that, we've got a lot of good things going on.
Yep.
Podcast wise, we'll be here every week now.
We're on it. Let us know what you want to hear. Like this is like we are dedicated to making this again those corny things, but to making this world a better place.
Yeah.
And like our jocksters, as you would call them, like give us your feedback. What do you guys want to know? What do you want to hear? We're gonna start implementing our guest schedule, which we had planned. So like you're gonna start seeing several guests, entrepreneurs, athletes, just all around people, good people that are striving for excellence.
Yeah.
And any questions you have for them, maybe we'll drop some. I just dropped Joe Selecki will be here next week. So if you have anything you want us to ask him, let us know. He's a very successful fighter. He leads our jiu-jitsu program at Jimmo. Just a lot of amazing attributes, and he's a lead. He leads by example. That's the one thing I like. One thing I think is so awesome and admirable about Joe is he leads by example. Okay. Right? Proof is in the pudding. Like he day in and day out, he's there. Just a leader.
Yeah.
We have a lot of awesome things coming up. So excited, and you guys are going to hear more from us, a lot more.
Yep, we're excited to get back in the groove, and thank you for staying patient. And we're excited to continue on the journey. And that is all. We're going to cheers on our way out now. I saved a little bit for the end.
Wow, good buddy.
I didn't do it on purpose, but it worked. Thank you, guys.